wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul. What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul?
just out of sight. In these stranger times, echoing slattered rhymes, survival, just another crime. Concrete lands anchored on shifting sands, permanence passing from hand to hand. Live your life bearing the sharpened knife of words meant only to bring
We ring this bell 3 times. The first is to call us into relationship with those to whom we owe a debt. Our forebears who preceded us here and once occupied this land that most of us now call home. The second calls us into relationship with ourselves and one another, that we may learn and grow wisdom and compassion and share it generously. And the third is to call us into relationship with our children and our children's children out to the 7th generation, so that we realize that what we do now will be felt by those who come after us.
Good morning and welcome. Volunteering in my daughter's kindergarten class made me realize that some students came to school with an abundance, a secure home with plenty of food and clothing. Others, though, did not. I decided to become a teacher because I liked the work and wanted to help those youngsters who, as I tended to phrase it, come with less on their plate than others. As an elementary school teacher, I was given many opportunities to help children and families who experience inequity in our society. But I saw that as one of the reasons I felt called to be a teacher. It was my job. I was expected to help, and I wanted to. However, going out into the world outside of my professional capacity, I've had a harder time doing this. One day, while walking, I came across an elderly gentleman who was sitting down, looking rather confused. I wasn't sure if he needed help. My niece was with me. She encouraged us to see if he needed help. So we walked over to him. We were not able to understand each other, speaking different languages, but someone came along who was able to help us. Why had I been so hesitant? My roadblocks included, would I be able to communicate with him? Did he even need help, or should I leave him alone? Being of different cultures, would a strange woman coming up to him make him feel uncomfortable? Being part of Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist congregation helps me to learn about my own roadblocks that cause me to hesitate in speaking up for or helping others. It helps me learn how to try and overcome my roadblocks. Being part of this community, most importantly, helps me feel like I am not alone in my efforts. I find that I grow spiritually, socially, intellectually, emotionally while we do this important work together. We support one another in working to make this world more equitable.
Good morning. Welcome to Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Melissa Holmes, and I'm a member of the board. We are so glad you've joined us this morning. Unitarian Universalism is a radically inclusive, non-doctrinal, non-dogmatic, open-minded, and open-hearted faith. We are people who are all coming at truth from different paths. We gather together with different experiences, identities, and passions because we are sure that everyone has inherent worth and we are all better together than apart. Together, we see our job is to love the hell out of this world, heal the hurt in ourselves and one another, and to be the change we'd like to see in the world. We'll use the chat to share joys and concerns, personal milestones of importance, which will be read aloud in the service. Maybe you're here for the first time. We've been reaching out and asking people to bring their friends because we think the world, especially now, needs some friendly places to gather and find encouragement and hope. We have coffee hour after the service where we will get to visit with one another in breakout rooms. For those who are new and those who brought them, we have a special breakout room where we will have virtual donuts. Please stick around and visit. We'd love to hear how you have been doing in what has certainly been a challenging time. The worship host will give you more information about this immediately after the service. In the meantime, if you'd like to get more information about the myriad of other things going on all through the week, we invite you to look at our weekly newsletter, The Week on the Peak. Please join anything that speaks to you. If you'd like to have the newsletter sent to you electronically, please let the people know at welcome@mpuuc.org. There's one thing I'd especially like to call your attention to. Next Sunday, our service will be about history and how it's not what it used to be, as we discover that some things happen differently than we are told. We'll take a look at how we tell our story and how we use our power. Right after the service, we invite you to a congregational conversation about stories and power sponsored by the Committee on Ministry. We'd love to see you there.
The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, UUSC, is a nonprofit, non-sectarian organization whose purpose is to advance human rights and social justice. It was established 80 years ago in 1940 through the American Unitarian Association to investigate and provide for humanitarian service in the U.S. and abroad. During World War II, they continued to work in collaboration with other agencies, and it's estimated that they assisted in rescuing somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 people. The work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. Guest at Your Table is UUSC's annual intergenerational program to raise support for and awareness about key human rights issues. If we were meeting in person, we'd be passing out the Guest at Your Table collection boxes. The idea is that at each dinner, try to set aside what the cost would be for you to have an actual guest at your dinner table. Accumulate these funds over the next few weeks and then send a check to Mission Peak to forward on to the UUSC. Participating in this program is an opportunity to celebrate grassroots partnerships, support human rights, and turn our UU faith into action. Today and at the next 3 services, we'll be meeting 4 of the guests that are part of this year's Guests at Your Table. Today's guest is Mark Stagey. He is an indigenous climate researcher in the Marshall Islands. According to research, climate change will leave many homes in the Marshall Islands uninhabitable by 2050. Mark has partnered with the UUSC and works together with communities in the Marshall Islands to collect data on flood risks and groundwater quality. By involving communities in data collection and decision-making, Mark helps increase Indigenous leadership in climate change research, ensure self-determination by communities, and prolong the habitability of people's homes through adaptation and resource conservation.
That's one of the challenges I'm facing right now is just the partnerships and the collaborative work that is so important is being constrained. And I think it doesn't have to be that way. I think there's a level of co-authorship and collaboration that is deeper and can be done. But there has been a reluctance. I think people's next published article is writing on the fact that they're leading the work. They can't co-lead. They can't co-author. It doesn't work in that way for them. So, and that's why I really like working with UUSC because they're kind of free from that those confines. They're not motivated by that ambition. It's much healthier, I think, in terms of a collaborative partnership for our community. And so some of the challenges that I see and being addressed with UUSC's partnership has been, that way that we do our work and what motivates us in the end, and what timelines and restrictions that we are given to do the work. Just being more, I guess, reflective of the local context.
Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, he will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. Listen. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. I said, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Please join me in reciting together these words which call us into community with one another and with Unitarian Universalists everywhere. We light this chalice to remind ourselves to treat all people kindly, because we are all one family, to take good care of the earth because it is our home, to live lives full of goodness and love, because that is how we will become the best people we can be.
Today's story is a condensed version of the book Maddie's Fridge by Lois Brandt. Sophia and Maddie were best friends. They played together in the park every day. Maddie was a fantastic climber at the climbing wall by her house. Sophia had a hard time stretching high enough. Maybe it was because Sophia's stomach growled. "Let's go to your house and get a snack," Sophia shouted. "No, let's stay here," Maddie said. But Sophia was a faster runner and was already way ahead. She ran to Maddie's building. She raced up the stairs and Maddie ran behind her. Sophia swung open the door of Maddie's fridge. "What have you got?" Sophia asked. "We have milk," Maddie said. "I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little." "Why doesn't your mom go to the store?" Sophia asked. "We don't have enough money." "But what if you get hungry?" "We have some bread," Maddie said. "I guess I'll go home to eat," Sophia said. "Please don't tell anyone," Maddie said. "Okay." "Promise?" "I promise." Sophia ran home. "Good timing," Mom said. "Dinner's ready." Luis was playing with their dog Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator and looked inside. The fridge was full of milk and eggs, tortillas and cheese and lettuce and salsa. There was even half a can of dog food. Sophia and Luis and their mom had fish and rice for dinner. Even Pepito had some fish and rice with his dog food. Sophia knew that Maddie and Ryan only had bread and a small carton of milk. But she couldn't tell her mom. She had promised Maddie. "I want cheesy pizza bombs," cried Luis. "Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat," Mom said. "Is fish good for kids?" Sophia asked. "Fish is very good for kids," her mom said. That gave Sophia an idea. "Yuck!" and "double yuck!" cried Sophia and Maddie the next day. Fish is good for kids, but bad for backpacks. So they went to the climbing wall. Just like before, Maddie made it up quickly, but Sophia struggled and felt embarrassed. Maddie cheered her on. That night, Sophia's family ate frittata. Pepito got a little frittata in his bowl as well. Sophia knew that Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. She wanted to tell her mom, but couldn't. "Are eggs good for kids?" Sophia asked her mom. "Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs," Luis said. "Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat. And yes, eggs are very good for kids." So Sophia packed some eggs in her backpack for Maddie and Ryan. "Yuck!" and "double yuck!" cried Sophia and Maddie the next day. Eggs are good for kids, but bad for backpacks. So they went to the climbing wall, and again, Maddie raced to the top. Sophia made it halfway, but then came down with a thump. "That happens sometimes," Maddie said, smiling. "Keep trying. You'll get it." Sophia's family had burritos that night for dinner. Pepito had some burrito in his bowl, but no salsa. Sophia knew that Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. She wanted to say something. Instead, she asked, "Are burritos good for kids?" "Burritos are very good for kids," her mom said. "Not as good as—" "You should think about nutrition like your sister," Mom interrupted. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack, along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and a little milk. When Sophia wanted to share, Maddie said no. She thought it would be gross again. But it wasn't. They decided burritos were good for kids and for backpacks. Maddie decided to save the milk for Ryan. They raced to the climbing wall and Maddie scrambled up. Sophia reached and stretched, and with a little help from Maddie, made it up for the first time. "Thanks for helping," Sophia said. "That's what friends are for," replied Maddie. Back at home, Sophia looked inside her own fridge again. Her mom had gone to the store. It was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and dog food. Maddie's fridge only had 2 tortillas, a cup of beans, a bit of cheese, and a little more milk than before. Mom noticed Sophia looking in the fridge and asked what she was looking for. Sophia wanted to tell her about Maddie and Ryan, but didn't want to break her promise. But she wanted to help them more, so she explained. "I'm glad you told me," her mom said. They got out some extra grocery bags and started packing them with flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, meat, and vegetables. Luis even pulled out the package of cheesy pizza bombs. He thought and thought. Then he put the cheesy pizza bombs in the bag. "For a treat," he said. At Maddie's apartment, the moms talked. Luis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddie ran to the park. "You broke your promise," Maddie said. "I'm sorry. Are you mad?" "Promises are important," Maddie said. "You're more important," Sophia said. "I wanted you to have milk too." Maddie smiled. "Are we still friends?" Sophia asked. "Always," Maddie said. "Double always," Sophia said. "Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs," Ryan called out the window. "For a treat," cried Luis. Sophia and Maddie raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for.
We come together every Sunday and all throughout the week for more than just ourselves. We come to support one another and the ministries that infuse worth and dignity into our children, our youth, our programs of learning and leadership, and our ministries in the larger world, including our efforts toward anti-racism and anti-oppression. Please make a contribution toward these worthy causes by mailing your check to Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation at the address on the screen. You can also use the bill pay option in your online banking or drop your check into the Mission Peak mail slot or pay online with a credit or debit card. Thank you for supporting and sustaining the efforts of our members, friends, and staff. Your contributions make loving, learning, and leadership more possible.
One of the things that allows us to find hope and meaning, especially in hard times, is the love and support people show one another. If you have a joy that you would like to share, or a concern that, by sharing with this caring community, might bring you the encouragement or resilience you need, I invite you to write it briefly now in the chat while the music plays. If your need is more private, you can also send an email to our minister for a follow-up conversation.
There's a black man with a black cat living in a black neighborhood. He's got an interstate running through his front yard. You know he thinks he's got it so good. And there's a woman in the kitchen cleaning up the evening slop. And he looks at her and says, hey darling, I can remember when you could stop the clock. Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America with something to see, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free? Yeah, little pink houses for you and me. Oh yeah, for you and me. Well, there's a young man in a t-shirt, listen to a rock and roll station. He's got greasy hair, greasy smile. He says, Lord, this must be my destination. 'Cause they told me when I was younger, saying, boy, you're gonna be president. But just like everything else, those old crazy dreams just kinda came and went. Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America with something to see, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free? Yeah, little pink houses for you and me. Ooh, baby, for you and me. Well, there's people and more people. What do they know? No, no. Go to work in some high rise and vacation down at the Gulf of Mexico. Ooh, yeah. And there's winners and there's losers, but they ain't no big deal. 'Cause the simple man, baby, pays the thrills, the bills, and the pills that kill.